be able to flex at top and mid. I think the Aphelios pick is obviously pretty safe and something that Rekkles likes to play a lot. And then, wow, the immediate bot lane. So tell me what you think of this bot lane already from Origen.
I think, well, MF is like the second best pick after Aphelios, so they want to take it away before Fnatic has a chance to ban it. And I think Nautilus is pretty safe blind. I guess that's why they banned the Braum as well. So Hyli has to kind of go like Leona or some other counter pick that he has prepared. But yeah, probably just going to be a Leona Nautilus matchup.
Pike game, maybe? Do you think about it?
I don't think Pike is that good here. Oh, I guess Pantheon. That's pretty good, yeah.
Ooh. I think the Pantheon is likely to go into the jungle.
Yeah.
I think that it can obviously be played in top, mid, jungle, or support. I don't know how much prevalence it's seen in the support position, but I do know that it's a pretty flexible champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad on support. You can kind of always put it bot and be fine with it. You just need to pair it with something that can follow up on your stun. Or like you can even play Talia Pantheon still, like Griffin did.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we haven't seen Pantheon in Fnatic hands at all. The Ornn has been played by Nemesis twice. Bwipo has not played it yet this year. He's played 8 unique champions in their 9 games, so I'm very intrigued to see where this draft is going to continue to play out, as Aatrox is now the next ban there, Vedius.
Why do you think Fnatic banned away the Aatrox?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. They haven't played it themselves this split yet, right?
I think they had one game on it, against Nocturne top lane.
And it was a victory
that one.
for Bwipo.
Actually, yeah, I'm not sure why they're banning it, because, well, Viva played it a lot last year. I guess they want to reduce, like, the amount of top laners that Alphari can play, because maybe they're just putting Ornn top or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because you would imagine that next pick, Fnatic would look to lock in their support. Either the potential Leona, Pike is a little bit risky. I think Pike is always scary because like against Soraka, you don't guarantee those executes, right?
Yep, very much. And it's also not a very good lane against Nautilus.
That's fair. So in terms of last bans for Origen, the only thing I can think of right now is that Origen is looking at a Rise possibility, given that they banned away the Casio and they also banned away the Leona.
I think Hyli kind of has to go for like some pure support right now. I think maybe like a Thresh or something could be good since they banned the Braum away. And Braum Aphelios is a pretty strong lane, so I think second bet would probably be Thresh Aphelios or some other kind of pure support that he can play.
I think that's fair.
Waiting for a few seconds. Nicely done, Mickey. The Thresh currently hovered. A few seconds away before they lock that in, and then we'll find out some information where this Ornn and this Pantheon are going to go once we see OG's last picks.
Yeah, I think that's what Fnatic's waiting for. They want a little bit more information. Where is the Soraka going to go? Would you try and put the Soraka into the Ornn lane as much as possible?
Yeah, probably. It seems like you just get a free lane. You scale for free, so you're just going to be probably stronger and not scale them.
I think that makes the most sense. For Origen right now, they have to blind pick something. With Casio gone, Rise is something they could consider. And I know that it's something that Nukeduck does like to play a lot as well. And again, the great thing about Rise is he can be flexed between mid and top. But the expectation is that he would more likely go into the mid lane.
And of course, that Thresh, by the way, 2 games played for Hylissang, both of them victories. Himself a 0-0-12 scoreline. First time he played it this split.
I think they need some AD jungle here now. Maybe like a Lee Sin. I think Xerxe did play some Lee Sin before. Or a Rek'Sai. I'm not too sure about the Rek'Sai pick, but yeah.
What worries you about the Rek'Sai?
I think it's like not that good to pick that late into the game. And, well, they kind of... I'm not sure if picking it on blue side is that good, because on blue side you kind of want to play to bot, but enemy has a Thresh, so it's a bit hard to gank.
Right.
But yeah. Wait, okay.
Ooh. So they are actually... Yeah, so it looks like the Pantheon is actually going in towards the top lane. Yeah. And do you think they want to... Surely they want to play this into the Soraka, right? That's their goal.
Yeah, they probably want to just dive Soraka all the time.
Yes.
And then bot lane just play safe and skill, because they're against blue side Rek'Sai. It's very scary to play as the bot lane on the red side.
Yeah, this Fnatic comp feels super strong to me. It feels like that it has good early game options, it has really good scaling, it has insane roam power with the Pantheon ultimate and the Talia ultimate. What are your thoughts, Mickey?
Well, Origen does have Soraka, so they might just win it. But yeah, I do like Fnatic's comp as well, yeah. I think they drafted well.
I know you were a little skeptical about this Rek'Sai, and I think I'm in line with you right now. That seems to be the odd pick in the draft coming out from Origen. But do you think that Soraka pick alone is enough to actually help with all the dive that's going to be coming out from Fnatic to actually keep Upset alive in this situation?
I think it should be enough, yeah, because it's not nerfed yet. But I'm just not sure about the Rise Rek'Sai pick, because I think with Rise you kind of want to play on side lane.
Yes.
But with Nautilus and Soraka you kind of want to fight more.
Yes.
So I'm not sure about the Rise pick, but yeah. I guess we'll see.
Well, we're loading up into game. Thank you so much for the draft guidance here, Mickey and Vedius, for adding in your opinion here. We're going to jump into game in just a moment, and as I said already, I really want to prioritize the fact that Vedius and Mickey can discuss and converse throughout the course of the game, so only if the team fights are really, really chaotic and over the top will I jump in on this one. It's such a pleasure to have a pro player on the desk with us, and for our match of the week, seeing Misfits and G2 just losing games, for OG and Fnatic, sorry, Mickey, you're right there. For OG and Fnatic, this is just such a great situation to be in, and the top of the table, still extremely, extremely exciting. So let's jump into our match of the week, OG versus Fnatic. This is where you go, Vedius. I pointed at him. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I was waiting to get into the game. We're already going to see some level 1s. Ooh, okay. So, Fnatic do have an insanely strong level 1. Destiny forced to use his hook very early. But Fnatic aren't actually going to get much deep vision off the back of that. I imagine, Mickey, that they were mainly just looking for a pick, seeing if they could catch anyone off guard.
Yeah, I think Fnatic should probably base on one of them and get a red trinket and maybe sweep their topside jungle, because they should know that Origen will ward their topside jungle in return. So yeah, I would expect that, but I guess no one's getting a red trinket. And yeah, I guess...
you sound so disappointed.
I guess Origen bot lane has to leash, and maybe they want to do like 3 camps into bot gank, which is pretty good on Xerxe. And I'm not sure why Fnatic is starting topside though. I think they should maybe start bot side and then try to dive top.
Do you think... In my head, Taliyah would consider doing a full clear top and then looking for early gank top, like level 3, level 2 gank top. Well, not. I mean, Pantheon level 2, Taliyah level 3.
That could happen, yeah. But I think maybe she wants to get her blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The fact that she's starting top could also mean that she's looking for a counter gank in bot.
Yeah, but I guess Xerxe is spotting top. Maybe he's going to defend the dive or something. And on bot lane, well, they're just kind of trading. I think early levels, Aphelios Thresh should win, because Aphelios kind of outranges MF with his green weapon. Yeah. And Thresh just outranges Nautilus as well, and if Nautilus hooks in, they can basically just kill him if they wait out the Aftershock, and then Thresh plays him back and ignites him.
Right.
Since also MF has cleanse instead of heal.
Yeah, and we can see the waves stacking up. I would imagine that a dive very early on is unlikely. But one of the advantages that it does have is it produces a stacking wave back, right? Which, something that you talked to me about is sometimes Nautilus likes to let the wave push in, so that because you have such great gank setup, you can then use that as an advantage to actually make a play bot. Do you think this is something that Origen will look to do?
I mean, they probably should, yeah, since they also have blue side Xerxe. And, well, they can't really push the lane anyway, so the only thing they can do is just get pushed in and look for a gank. Oh, I got hooked.
A bit of damage down onto Destiny. We can actually see both junglers actually sitting around topside, and Nukeduck is even roaming up. He's pushed in mids. We can see that Selfmade has actually done a full topside clear, and Origen is looking for a dive.
See whether or not Nukeduck will be able to land this out. Seismic shove directly onto Xerxe. The threaded volley does a lot of damage. I definitely was expecting a little more, but good play from Selfmade.
Yeah, and the Soraka is in a position where during the early levels, she hasn't been killed, which is great. She's also going to get this wave to bounce back towards her, which is also good. And Bwipo so far hasn't been able to take advantage of the strong early laning power of Pantheon, but now that he's hit level 3, I would imagine that he's going to have a lot more threats in this 1v1.
Yeah, I think for sure, like right now they should start to look for a gank stop, because if they land one Pantheon W, they probably just one-shot him.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah. And then I think OG should just look for ganks bot. Because also Fnatic kind of don't have wards, because Thresh has a sweeper. So they only have one ward for, well, the whole lane phase. Oh, okay.
I love how all of these early decisions you're talking about, Mickey, and then Fnatic is doing like the exact opposite of everything that you suggest.
Maybe they're just too smart and I'm not that smart.
But I do have actually like a kind of a slightly disconnected one, but like, isn't it interesting that you've got such varying decision making? Of course, we've got the God vision, so we can see the entire map, and that helps make those inform the decisions you're going to make. But right now, Xerxe is moving himself into this bottom lane. Doesn't really look like there's much available though.
Yeah, OG bottom just wants to push out this wave and base, probably. So they asked Rek'Sai to counter gank in case like Taliyah comes bot, since they saw her on the ward that he cleared. And now, well, Rekkles is going back to his Krugs, and they kind of, the Fnatic bot lane did well by like freezing the wave out of tower, so the OG bot needs to stay and push it out completely.
Because they could have just held the wave there, right?
Yeah, they could have just, yeah. And then it will be pretty bad for OG, and they would probably need to like roam mid or something.
So I have noticed as well that Nukeduck is roaming around the map a lot. I do like this ward that I believe Nemesis did place, or unless it was the jungler as well. But either way, that ward does spot out some of the plays that Nukeduck is trying to make. But you can see already a massive discrepancy starting to develop in the top side of the map, with Alphari with a pretty healthy CS advantage. Xerxe now looking for a play in bot lane.
Opportunities there. He decides to tunnel over, but the recall is busy channeling, cancels it for now. Destiny's dredge line will land onto Rekkles. Lantern's available, not going to be able to go in, and Xerxe first blood.
Oh, I guess that worked. Rek'Sai did kind of miss his knockup, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's blue side Rek'Sai after all, so bot lane is unplayable as red side.
Wait, talk to me more about that. Why do you say that?
Because it's kind of same as red side Rek'Sai for top lane. This big wall, like Rek'Sai can gank you from like 3 different paths. So you need a lot of wards, and you need to play very safe, because if he ever gets behind you, you're just kind of dead.
Right.
And also Thresh side sweeper, so they only have 1 ward for it.
Ah,
so they just,
yes.
yeah, kind of die.
Ah, that makes sense. So, very easy early kill from Origen. Fnatic now trying to respond on the top side, but Xerxe is already on his way. Nukeduck doesn't have TP, but here comes the dive.
Yeah, Nautilus is also moving.
It's a good flash from Alphari, but the burst damage is more than enough to find that kill. Selfmade is going to be able to walk out as well. So really good dive overall from Fnatic, and they end up not getting punished off of it. Destiny will just jump into a ward, but I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't. Dredge line, if he can find a target, there will be some follow-up, but Nukeduck used the Realm Orb from lower in the lane to just jump all the way up, and this is that unplayable bot side duo because of the Rek'Sai, Mickey.
Yeah, I mean, probably Philios would just like flash out of it, and the lantern should be placed like higher up so they can't ward it, and then they just have to waste 1 flash for it, yeah. But in general, the initial position that he was in was really bad. He should never have been in a position where Nautilus just gets a free hook with like no minions around or anything.
Right.
But yeah.
So what is Soraka? Well, she just kind of gets 1 shot.
Yeah.
This is the power of the Taliyah Pantheon that we were talking about, and the ability to set up these plays is very strong. I think we need to see Fnatic repeat this play multiple times towards the top side. We've actually got a bit of a swap coming through, and this is something we talked about in Draft, Mickey, where ideally you want the Soraka to actually play against the Ornn because you get a very easy and free laning phase, and now Origen have sent Ryze into the top lane. The fact that he still has Flash means that he's probably much safer up here than the Soraka is.
Yeah, for sure. I think Fnatic could look to like swap it up again, or they could look to maybe just dive the Ryze top lane, because, well, Ornn should probably get pushed against Soraka, because he looks pretty strong right now, pretty scary, and even though Soraka should be fine against Ornn in general, since Ornn is level 6 and has ult soon, and Soraka has no flash, they can just gank him with Taliyah and kill him as well, and also Pantheon ult.
Yeah.
We're 8 minutes into the game, 1 kill apiece, gold is even. There's some CS discrepancies across the board. Is there anything you're starting to like worry about already, Mickey? Like when you see the swappers come in and how some of the decision making is played out?
Well, Soraka is still scaling, so that's a bit scary. And Rek'Sai, well, is actually getting kind of far ahead. Like he got a kill. Usually he should not get a kill that early, at least like on stage. In scrims sometimes happen that Rek'Sai are very fed, but in scrims, I mean on stage usually they shouldn't get that far ahead.
It's fun for me because I think, you know, in the build-up we were a little caught off surprised by the Rek'Sai, and then the anticipation maybe Rekkles and Hilly, slightly stronger duo, but in a 3v2 obviously they're gonna get punished, right?
Yeah. Well, they are right now pretty good in the lane still, even though they died once. They're still ahead in CS, and they still have all summoners up, so they are pretty safe. And right now they're looking for a swap and play for Herald, I guess.
Yeah, so this is a pretty standard play that you'll often see from pretty much any team. Do you think it's worth Origen trying to matching and contesting?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think Herald is like a stronger first objective than the first Drake. I think first Drake is not very relevant, since it doesn't give you that good stats. And it's going to be a different one anyway at the end, so yeah.
Before the Forge God comes down, Hylissang goes in with the flay into the death sentence. And that was about as perfect as you'd want to see.
Yeah, Mickey already talked about it earlier. Even though the Soraka has moved to mid, because you have Ornn ultimate and there's no flash on the Soraka, that dive is still very doable. I thought that they might use the Pantheon as well, but they didn't need it. Did cost the flash from Hylissang, but the kill also went on to Rekkles as well. And the thing that I was concerned about for Origen was that I'm not sure if they would have been strong enough to actually fight Fnatic at this point, just because they're playing against Pantheon Taliyah. But Fnatic made the decision pretty easy for them by just straight up murdering their mid laner. Yeah, when it comes to like decisions like this, how much planning do you think is involved versus how much do you think is just, hey, there's an opportunity here, let's just make it happen?
I mean, I think they planned it before, like as soon as Soraka burned her flash and she went mid, they probably planned like they should probably use Ornn ult to get her. I think also Tersh didn't need to use flash there, but just saying.
Hey, it guarantees the kill, Mickey.
I guess, yeah. I think it was pretty guaranteed, but better safe than sorry. But now since he has no flash, then Nautilus could look for a hook on him and he probably just dies. But I guess he has stopwatch, so maybe he doesn't die. So I think now they should probably just yeah, put their bot in mid, because they're like, Aphelios and Memef are both really good mid lane champs. Like they clear the wave pretty fast, and they can start playing for Drake. And yeah, probably dive the Soraka even more.
Well, listen, Mickey, we don't want to keep you too long, and we did say beforehand we're going to try to keep for the early stages of the game. So let's, you know, project forward. You've seen 10 minutes of gameplay. I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball. What do you think is going to happen in this game over the next 10 to 15 minutes? And then give me a prediction. Who you think is going to win before we say goodbye?
Well, I think Fnatic is just gonna abuse their Pantheon Taliyah ults and their globals, and Ornn being OP, and just probably catch Origen off guard. I think they also have a better draft, so I predict Fnatic to win.
Okay. Would you like to say goodbye to the fans at home?
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was slightly insightful.
Mickey,
Thank you so much for your insight, Mickey.
it was absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll jump back into the game right now as Fnatic were sieging the top lane. They were 1,000 gold up and 2 kills to 1. Vedius tonight will be taking over the remainder of the game. We hope everybody watching at home enjoys having a pro player's perspective. But Vedius got a pretty strong, convincing prediction there from Mickey. Let's see if it comes true.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey taught us a lot of very cool things, like the influence of Xerxe on the blue side of the map and how you can use these walls and how easy it is to actually set up these dives onto champions like the Soraka. I think that Fnatic right now is playing this early game extremely effectively, but Mickey also helps set the expectation that OG don't have a huge amount of early game options. And yeah, Fnatic do. They have the Taliyah Pantheon, a very potent duo, and the fact that Bwipo was just able to find a solo kill onto Nukeduck is only going to make that even harder for Origen. So Fnatic right now playing the map extremely well. 9th
unique champion for Bwipo in 10 games in the 2020 season, and he manages to pick off kill. Grand Starfall is likely what we're demonstrating here. Thank you, observers, for highlighting that one. Onto a recalling Nukeduck. Oh man, he ran dead center into it.
So what Bwipo saw was that the wave had been cleared by Nukeduck, but because Bwipo had that ward in the lane, he knew that Nukeduck was basing in a brush. So he kind of had zero lost play here, where he uses his ultimate to either get to lane quicker, or he's able to find a kill, and he does just that. With the Youmuu's Ghost Blade now completed, expect to see Bwipo roaming around the map a little bit more.
And of course, you can add that into whatever roaming the Weaver's Wall will happen from Selfmade. Not only did Bwipo get the solo kill up in the top lane, Mountain Drake secured by Fnatic. The next is Infernal. So we're either going to have a Cloud or an Ocean Rift once that is secured. CS differentials between Nukeduck and Nemesis, just to paint a quick picture of 10, 15-ish between them, and around 5 between Alphari and Bwipo for the time being. But look at this 5-man stack from OG. A lot of resources being thrown into the top lane just before these turret plates go down.
Meanwhile, Nemesis is just sitting isolated in the bot lane, collecting more turret plates. If we have a quick flip over to the gold, you can see that even though in the early levels he was being bullied a bit, he's staying very comparable in the gold. Selfmade has built himself a bit of an advantage. A lot of the gold is also sitting on Rekkles, but pretty much across the board, Fnatic has advantages in every single lane.
The only thing I can see that OG are doing fairly well right now is just all of this vision, thanks to that 5-man stack into the top lane. The tower is down to 2 plates as they will drop, and it looks like Nemesis continues to just bash away in the bottom lane while the rest of Fnatic are grouping up now in the mid lane. Rekkles flash is available, won't need it, we'll use the Lantern instead. And this advantage from Fnatic is there. Xerxe, he's going to tunnel over. The Flay comes down, but you can't get away from the Nautilus ultimate. Upset takes out Hilly. Dredge line goes up with Bwipo and Nemesis. That's a two-man arrival. Call of the Forge God has been used, and Destiny will be saved by the Wish for now. And Rekkles snipes him down with the ultimate. That's an unstoppable thanks to Bellows. Breath rather, as Nukeduck now starts to step back. Keep your eyes on Alphari. He's healing up the members of Fnatic. But the Weaver's Wall comes out and that blocks out an escape, but there's just not enough follow-up. Ends up being trade there in the mid lane.
Yeah, support for support, but it also exposes the mid lane tower, which Fnatic want to try and secure. They're not going to be able to do it because Upset's going to invest his ultimate, but you can see that Fnatic not looking to slow down this pressure. The Rift Herald is spawning soon as well, so Bwipo, he wants to try and get this wave pushed in. Fnatic want to get this wave pushed in as well, and they want to look to get a reset off as quickly as possible. If they get these two towers, they're in a great position as a hook does land.
It does indeed. Dredge line connects onto Hilly. He's still got the flash available. Xerxe now making his way through. Remember that Nemesis and Bwipo have already used their TPs, so the support cannot come in. Hilly gets the flash, but that was the flash knocker from Xerxe. Rekkles goes golden. The Fangs are going to get sunk in, and that's a kill for Xerxe. Here comes Bwipo and Selfmade. I don't know if they want the 2v4, and they are going to back away. OG strike back.
So the map state is a bit weird right now as Bwipo wasn't completely able to push in that bot wave. And two members of Fnatic just died in the mid lane. I'm not going to say that they overstayed. I want to have a quick look at the replay once again because the hook did come out from Destiny, so Fnatic really wanted to secure that tower before leaving. Again, it was all in pursuit of this Rift Herald. They wanted to get a good reset off before actually spending all that gold and then looking to set up on the map. And we'll have a quick look at it now. You can see that, oh, this is actually the second half of the fight where the initial hook is already landed from Destiny, and Rekkles and Hylissang end up getting chased down, but a little bit prior to this, we did see them committing very hard to the tower and OG trying to force a fight when Fnatic was trying to secure that objective. But Fnatic still secured two towers. They're still first to the Rift Herald, which means they get to control the river, and at this point in the game, they're very strong. The Abyssal Mask has now been completed from Nemesis. You can also see the very early Oblivion Orb coming out from Selfmade. He's very strong. Bwipo, along with the Youmuu's Ghost play, that there are a lot of one-item power spikes that are making Fnatic very strong, and they can use this Rift Herald very quickly up towards the top lane to help break that final outer tower. So, small blunder there from Fnatic, but very little to criticize so far from their early game.
Yeah, definitely generated a lot of advantages. If they commit to this top lane tower, it may be at the cost of the Infernal Drake, because that one is spawning now in 20 seconds. They may actually have enough time with their globals. Moonlight Vigil comes up from
very
Rekkles,
nice.
and that was so nicely done. Selfmade flashes over the wall. The seismic shove won't be able to pick up the kill though, because the Wish and the heals from Soraka the Unicorn are too OP.
Oh, now OG looking for another fight.
Death Sentence connects out to Nautilus as the fall of the Fortune comes down there. The Grand Starfall, it ends up being a trade. It's a 1-for-1 for now, and the tower stays alive. Nukeduck's going to jump in with the Realm Warp, and that will be enough to push Fnatic away. So OG, they will trade back and forth despite losing a member, and Xerxe escapes for now. Flash, Death Sentence goes wide. Hilly doesn't find the target, and Xerxe will find some support from Upset in just a moment. And Fnatic's realizing the dragon is up, they start to turn back for that objective.
Yeah, Fnatic are always finding a kill just before, or a good fight just before these objectives can be contested by Origen. And while it is Origen that actually, I think, initially got that kill onto Selfmade, it ends up working out in the favor of Fnatic anyway. The TP now in from Alphari. OG and Fnatic looking for another fight.
Oh man, Cloud Rift has spawned. Selfmade's looking for the shove. That's an instantly dead Xerxe. Bullet time comes out. Alphari and Upset are going to be on the wrong side of the rift as Fnatic got themselves a Drake, got themselves a triple kill, and the Pantheon is 4-0-2. Bwipo has had some strong words for top laners this week in interviews and in our Match of the Week video, and he is stepping up to the plate in our Match of the Week.
So this is the initial play. Selfmade tries to one-shot Alphari, but you're just seeing the heal from the Wish on top of the silence means that Selfmade just ends up losing his life. However, because a lot was invested there, Fnatic see this as an opportunity to go for the re-engage. Now Nemesis, he gets a knock-up into the Ornn ult, into the W. So much damage comes out from this champion, allowing Rekkles to get the kill. They do force the flash out from Upset as well, which means that Fnatic actually creates a 4 versus 4 situation because they're able to force Origen back. My big question mark comes here, because you'll notice that Ryze actually goes up to mid lane while a TP is coming in bot, and Origen are trying to shove out the bot wave as 3 people while their support is nowhere near. This play from Origen doesn't really make any sense, and it just allows Fnatic to force a very easy fight after they just secured the Drake.
Just moments before that mid lane engage happened, Vedius, Nukeduck used his teleport to catch the top lane wave, then needed to run down to the Wolf camp before realm warping to the mid lane. I can only wonder if maybe they thought he had his TP, maybe could have joined Alphari, could have been different if Ryze was there. Obviously we won't know until we speak to the players, but nevertheless, Fnatic extend that gold lead, 4,500, 4 towers to 1. 2 dragons to 0, and at this time I want to remind everybody that it was Origen that beat Fnatic when they played in week 1, day 1. Origen obliterated Fnatic. They had a very strong early game, they ran away with it, and Fnatic are punching back 4 weeks later.
And I kind of want to bring us back to the draft, because when we think about it, both Mickey and I were very surprised to see the Soraka left open. Of course you're going to first pick that champion, but I think Fnatic did it with the intent of trading it for Ornn. There was no way OG was going to be able to get both, and because Fnatic feel very comfortable with this pick and its flexibility, you then also put Selfmade in a position where he can carry, as Hylissang will probably be chased down here, doesn't have flash.
No.
He's just... Oh, nice side step.
Stays alive for a few seconds. Bullet time doesn't take him out.
Okay.
But the dredge line does. I definitely didn't get that excited. But yes, let's go back to the Ornn points.
But yeah, so Fnatic made very calculated trades in the draft, and they could almost expect everything that Origen wanted to do. And then when we think about Origen's blue 4th and 5th pick, when they were forced into this Ryze and Xerxe champion, you're now not looking at this same late game that a Soraka normally has.
And if I can zoom out for just a moment, reminder that Andre Gehoto for Origen used to coach Mithy, the coach for Fnatic. So yes, we've got all these champion interactions, but the lane kingdom, the draft kingdom the draft kingdom that we've been talking so much about this weekend and praising OG, maybe the anticipation, the preparation, the game plan that Fnatic have put together is one that's working out in their favor right now.
It's super strong because I think it pretty much covers all the bases. It offers a really strong early game. It has good late game. You have an ability to attack the side lanes, which Nukeduck... Now, when you think of Ryze, you think, okay, I'm going to keep split pushing, no one's going to be able to 1v1 me, and maybe that is the case, but I'm not convinced that it is. But even if it was, look how easy it is for Fnatic to roam as we see Selfmade caught out once again.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Death Sentence will buy some time as Destiny is the one that's caught up. The Wish has been used, and so has the Moonlight Vigil. Threaded volleys turns out one after the other. The Grand Starfall has come down. Thus far, Upset's the only one to die. Every single ultimate used on the Fnatic side. Elise was on cooldown from that previous engage, and Upset got taken down. But you see how long it takes to get through those healings that Alphari Soraka has, and now Fnatic, they're going to start the Baron.
Yeah, why not? They have a numbers advantage. Upset is dead, who's pretty much most of the damage for Origen right now. There's no way for them to contest, but here comes the Realm Warp. They're going to use it to get some vision in.
All right.
No, they won't be able to steal this. It's too late.
Not a chance. Death Sentence almost catches out Xerxe. Fnatic are in the lead in the match of the week. And just to paint a picture of what is at stake, with G2 losing today, with Misfits losing today, and with the potential of OG losing today, we will have a 4-way tie for first if Fnatic conclude this. Right now, they're setting up for the next Cloud Drake video.
And I don't think Origen is strong enough to be able to fight them. They need to rely on Destiny to engage these fights, and Fnatic just feels so much stronger right now. Look at Bwipo. He's looking for a flank.
Is indeed. Xerxe actually got pulled out after the tunnel. He does get blown up, but now take a look at the top lane. Bwipo and Nemesis, they held off 4 members of OG. Bwipo finally goes down after he's blown the flash over the wall. That's a hook there onto Destiny as he gets taken out. It's a double kill for Nukeduck, but Rekkles, Hilly, and Selfmade can still do a lot of work. It's still a 3 versus 3, but Alphari has got himself the wish. Dragon secured by Selfmade. They get the objective. They get an even kill fight. And they get out with their lives.
I'm really impressed with how Fnatic is playing around the Soraka, but we'll get to that in a second. Yes, it's a good hook initially from Destiny, and you think the chain crowd control from things like the Soraka silence and the chain CC from Nautilus will be enough to get the kill, but you can see that the dive is just unrelenting. Nautilus ultimate, the Talia wall to cut off the escape route, the Pantheon as well. It's just, you have to give so much to just keep this AD carry alive for Origen that it becomes impossible to play out these fights. But here, Fnatic was a little bit more divided. Nemesis tanks up a lot of the damage initially, while the rest of Fnatic is dealing with Xerxe. Yes, they take him out of the fight. He dies instantly, but then Origen find themselves in a convenient 4 versus 2 where they can very quickly kill the Pantheon, and they still have the Soraka on their side, which they honestly don't need initially. Then the silence comes through to help them kill the Ornn. And while it ends up being a 2 for 2, you can see just how potent this Fnatic composition is and how difficult it is for Origen to play these fights out.
How do Origen bounce back for this? We've praised Fnatic in the draft that is now led into the decision-making, but this is a 6,000 gold deficit, but they do still have Soraka and Ryze on their side. We'll get to that in a moment as now the threat is... Sorry, Weaver's wall has come down. Grand Starfaller's wall. Bwipo got a little bit stuck on the wall. That's a great dredge line, but the stun comes out. Selfmade is now taken out. Rekkles and Hilly, they jump over the wall. Junglers are dead on both sides, and Nukeduck is now caught on the wrong side of the rift. Bwipo takes him out 1 for 2 to Fnatic.
But this is exactly what we were talking about. Ryze can never split push because it's so easy for Fnatic to attack the side lanes. They appreciate how difficult it is for Origen to play this game, and they're not allowing the Soraka to be able to do what she's so good at, which is just provide so much healing in these 5v5s. Now Fnatic can threaten a dive.
Oh, they can indeed. Upset forced to flash. Alphari, he's going to run away as well. The tower's going to be the next focus. 5 of them down in favor of Fnatic. And while Nukeduck will be respawning in 10 seconds time, Fnatic have got what they wanted. Execution after draft has been so, the intent has been fantastic, and Fnatic have generated a massive lead.
We're just in this situation where it's difficult to see a way in which Origen can win these fights, because I think Mickey painted the picture perfectly. The Xerxe and the Ryze don't make sense in the context of what Soraka wants to do. She's getting zoned completely out of this fight. Yes, okay, they do get that initial kill onto the Talia, but you can then see that Ryze is just getting completely zoned out. Fnatic have so much damage that the moment they get on top of a target, there's not enough healing to be able to keep them alive. And so I think Fnatic are just constantly looking for these fights, looking for these picks, and recognizing that Origen can do very little to stop them rolling over them.
So Fnatic 2 minutes until the next Cloud as well as Baron. They've got absolute control in this game. They're on the cusp of forcing a 4-way tie in first place here in the LEC. And OG, you need to try find a way back into this. It's 27 minutes on the clock. They do have some tools, but like you've mentioned so many times, the draft is just going to be so difficult to execute, especially with all the additional Ornn stats that are being provided to a team that's already ahead.
It's important to appreciate as well that Soraka, even though she's at a gold deficit, will always have value because Appreciates as a champion. But if we very quickly flip over to the gold, you'll notice that Bwipo has 11.7k, which is like 4,500 more than what Alphari has. And oh look, they're attacking the side lane again.
Yeah, they are. Nukeduck is going to get run down. King just completely taken out. And that's also before you add on to the fact that that Ghost Blade is upgraded thanks to Ornn. So not only does it have that gold lead, there's also additional stats that aren't reflected in the gold. And with Baron and Dragon up next, this is just up to Fnatic. How do they want to win the game? Right? Is that simple?
I'd love to sit there and tell you, like, this is how Origen come back, but I just don't see a way.
and now what we're doing is we're just watching how do Fnatic close this game up.
Yeah, it really is.
They had a really good start to the game. I love the fact that Mickey was here with us, and he threw his nose up when the Xerxe was locked in and got a little like, then the first gank
I just love his response is always, okay. And it's that classic pro player like, okay, this decision has confused me a lot.
But then you see the counterplay, like, okay, so the OG idea of getting the kill, great, but they were exactly like Mickey said, zoom out, look at the bigger comp, and like you've just reiterated, Vedius, with the Soraka first pick, the pieces don't all come together, and this Talia, this Pantheon, this Ornn, they've got all the tools they need to deal with Soraka, so this feels like potentially a last-ditch effort.
There's the Cloud Soul. OG trying to bait around the Baron, but Bwipo doesn't have ultimate. That's the saving grace right now for Fnatic. But, oh, here we go, engage comes through.
Okay, dredge line onto Nemesis, but really does it matter? Moonlight Vigil comes.
That's a lot of damage.
From Rekkles, and the rest of Fnatic follows up. 1, 2, 3 quick kills. Bwipo turns back. It's a double-double. It's in and out for Fnatic as Bwipo and Rekkles are looking to clean house. Nukeduck gets taken out by Selfmade, and with 50-second death timers, it looks like Fnatic has won the match of the week. It looks like all 3 first-place teams after the first round robin have fallen at the first hurdle in the second round robin, and OG have been taken down by Fnatic.
Fnatic have absolutely slaughtered Origen from start to finish. There was no answer. Fnatic reign supreme.
Fnatic take down Origen and sit in first place along with G2, OG, and Misfits. Stay tuned for the end of the show because Bwipo will be joining us on PGL. Talk about those spicy picks, and I certainly hope to talk about some of those interviews, but it was extremely clear from the very first ban of this game that Fnatic knew what they wanted to do, they got their way, and they executed.
Yeah, the irony of this is in week 1, Origen won because they had the better draft, right? It felt like that Fnatic had no options, and eventually Origen got to a point where they just won. Now it's the exact opposite, where Fnatic put so much thought into their draft, it felt like from beginning to end, there was no answer for Origen. It was just, the dive was extremely strong from Bwipo. I love Taliyah Pantheon as a duo. I think that overall, they played extremely well.
Congratulations to Fnatic, sitting tied in first place. High fives all around, including at the caster desk. I feel quite like included now. You know, I haven't had to do this for a few years. But my word, spare a thought for Origen.
I mean, they got slaughtered. They got absolutely destroyed.
How, you know, I really hope that we get some insight and some conversation around, you know, the perspective from Methi and Andre Gihoto, the fact that, you know, they did play together. Understanding the drop, you leave that Soraka open after seeing what OG have done with it. And maybe it was the biggest trap card that we've seen.
The thing that I really want to go back and think about is what could have Origen done instead on Blue 4 and Blue 5?
Right.
What other things could they have picked to make their comp slightly stronger? Because I think, you know, I really want to reinforce what Mickey said. The Rise and the Xerxe did not make sense given the context of the comp that they already had. Misfortune, really strong team fighter. Nautilus, strong team fighter. Soraka, strong team fighter. And then you had 2 champions that like want to play side lane, very early game focused. Like the Xerxe kind of falls off later. It was just these 2 picks. If they didn't like snowball hard extremely early, it was going to be impossible for Origen to win, and they couldn't find those leads. Bwipo even found a solo kill onto Nukeduck, and again, like I'm just so impressed by this comp because like it does everything. It has good early game, it has great roaming, it can play side lane, it can team fight. Really impressive stuff.
It is indeed. And of course, Bwipo, as well as Selfmade and Rekkles are your 3 options for key player of the game at LEC. I actually don't know how you're possibly going to be able to pick one because they all did very different things. I personally am partial to the fact that Bwipo played yet another unique champion. He found that solo kill. But without Selfmade ultimating in from time to time, without Rekkles chucking those team fight, his ultimates in the team fights, maybe we wouldn't have gone to like, it was a team effort. They were on the same page. They were moving
great
as
League of Legends.
It was... I mean, if you're a Fnatic fan, if you're an Origen fan, whoo, that was not...
I mean, like, it was one of those things where we also get to hear from Mickey where he's like, okay, the flash is down, they'll probably look for the play. Well, what happens? Fnatic then go mid, they make the dive happen. Every time an objective is about to start, like, oh, okay, we can start a fight here, we can look for this, we can look for that, and just, it felt like Fnatic were all on the same page, they were all hyper-focused, and they played super well.
Origen today,
well
they win match of the week, they sit in tied first place. I was about to throw it to PGL, we're not just Yeti, we are indeed ready.